So there's just one other thing I briefly want to mention to you. The PIP, the Priority Infrastructure Plan. So remember I said that the city plan designates growth and development and zoning issues. It also includes infrastructure issues. So Brisbane City Council is asking residents what sort of infrastructure it wants to see in our area, and this is long term, over the next sort of 25 years. Council calls short term between sort of 1 and 5 years. It calls medium term, 5 to 10, and it calls longer term 10 out to sort of 25. So that's how they break it up. One of the things I know is that the city plan rules are quite complex, and unless you're sort of really interested in sort of what happens and the technicalities of those rules. One of the things that you can do as part of this city planning process is have your say about infrastructure. Infrastructure in the city plan includes pretty much everything. Do you want a new park somewhere? Do you need new drainage? Do you want road upgrades? Do you want a new community centre? Do you need a new bikeway? All of these things are part of the long-term infrastructure plan. It doesn't include things as small as, say, a footpath, just a small footpath, or, a new drain gully or something like that. Think about your trunk, what we call trunk infrastructure. But there are other things. So I've got a couple of things that are going around. One is the one about the future density that I've spoken about. The other one is about Venner Road. For those of you who know Venner Road, it obviously is a key east-west connector. The intersection up at Ipswich Road is extremely congested, and with all the big trucks running up and down it, it's a very difficult and often unsafe area for local residents who are just trying to get to the shops and the schools and wherever they're going. A few years ago, I pushed to have a study done, a transport study done. That study documented how many trucks move through the area, and I've got all that research if anybody would like a copy of it. Most of the trucks are pretty much trying to get to two places: into the markets and the industrial area in the bottom of Rocklea and Archerfield, in that area in there, or they're trying to get across to the port. So we've got a lot of trucks moving in and out of the area. We have some capacity constraints, principally the low rail bridge at Muriel Avenue. Trucks can't go under it, so their east-west connections are reasonably limited. They are Venner Road. Obviously, you've got Grenard Road and so forth, but that's if you're going a certain way rather than back this way. But for us, the local movement generator is the markets, the toll intermodal complex at the back of the golf club, and the industrial part of Rocklea. So to get the trucks more directly to where they need to go, one of the suggestions from Council's planning officers were we would have the trucks continue down Ipswich Road. Once they get down into Moorooka, then we would build a flyover over to Fairfield Road so they could get to Sherwood Road or into the industrial part of Rocklea. So that's what that one is about. It would mean then we would ban trucks from coming down Venner Road unless they're part of a local, deliveries or, removal trucks and so forth. And we would upgrade the intersection at the top. So we're essentially reclaiming what was just a small linking district road from being a major traffic arterial road. At the moment, the Lord Mayor, and again the new Lord Mayor, so Graham Quirk, promised that they would put this on Council's long-term infrastructure plan. I'm not saying we have to do it tomorrow. There's obviously lots of priorities, but it's not in the long-term infrastructure plan. You'll hopefully remember, during the election last year, both I and my opponent, the Lord Mayor's representative, promised that they would do it. He has not done it as part of the city plan, and I'm trying to hold him to account to at least get it listed on our future infrastructure program for Council. So that's, if anybody wants more information about that, I have it at my office and I'd be happy to pass it to you as well. But as I said, infrastructure can be anything that you think is important to you. Bikeways are really good ones if there's any bikeways you're interested in. New parkland. So for example, the RSPCA-site is going to become largely parkland. A portion of it the state government is going to sell off to a private developer, but the balance of the land is going to be handed over to Council and converted into parkland. So there are other opportunities like that. Obviously, the Todd site is an interesting one. Council doesn't own that land, but if the state were to sell it, council could potentially buy it. We're all still in limbo because the state government owns it. We don't know what Mr Newman's going to do, so we're waiting with some interest on that. The other one that's probably of interest to you guys is the Yeronga TAFE next to the high school. That's been vacant now for quite some period of time, and the future of that site might be something you'd like to think about as well. The old TAFE site, I think, is a very valuable piece of land. It is all flood free, and it has magnificent city views on parts of that site. There's been no discussion by the Newman government about what it's going to do with it. The Newman government did announce that certain number of TAFEs, I think it was about 13 TAFEs, were going to be sold. It's not in the first batch to be sold, but what might happen after that, I don't know. You might like to have your say about what you think it should be down the track. But yeah, please have a think about what other infrastructure that you might need in the area. So, how's that?